Is it actually worth splashing the cash to get the Logitech MX Master 3 and MX keys, or is it worth it to go for their similar and cheaper options?
We're the Master Brothers, and in this video we're going to answer that exact question. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare two offerings from Logitech, one of them being the premium version and one of them being the more budget option for both keyboards and mice.
And just to clarify, the budget versions are not super cheap devices. They're cheaper than the premium ones, but they still offer similar features. So let's get into it.
We're going to use the master rating as a template, but we're not going to give scores because we've already done 60-second reviews for each of these products, and if you want to see those, you can check them out in the link in the description. We've also linked each product in the description, so if you want to buy any of them, you'll find those down below.
So first we have money. The MX keys will cost you about £90, and you can get the K780 for about £65.
Yeah, but the K780 will usually go on deal more often than the MX keys, so you'll be able to find it for a better price. But in general, the K780 will be about 30% cheaper than the more premium MX keys.
For aesthetic, the MX keys has a minimal, sort of Apple vibe to it.
Yeah, it's like clean, modern, solid build, space gray, just like very minimal, but nice.
Yeah, and then you've got the K780, which has that white and grey two-tone design, which is really nice. It's just very different. They're both...
Yeah, it's a lot more playful. The cradle has like little dots on it, and the keys are round as well, which I think makes the aesthetic like a bit more, I don't know, playful is how I describe it.
Yeah, so
less
like
formal.
Yeah, the MX keys is formal, and then the K780 is playful. But what I do miss in the K780 is the backlighting, which the MX keys has.
Yeah. The backlighting is not as good as Apple keyboards, but it is still pretty good. And like the Magic keyboards from Apple don't even have backlighting usually, so yeah, it's good to have it.
But I mean, you can't beat that proximity sensor. That's just so cool.
Oh, you wave your hand over it and then it just like lights up. That's pretty good, yeah.
So cool.
Now for scents, the MX keys definitely does feel more premium when you're typing. The keys are like kind of soft clicking. It's pretty quiet. It's definitely not a mechanical sort of vibe, but it is a nice typing experience. Quite similar to the Magic keyboard from Apple, I'd say.
Yeah, but I think what makes it better than the Apple keyboard is the little divots for your fingers. It kind of adds to the premium feel.
Yeah.
And then you've got the K780, which is still a brilliant typing experience. The only problem is with the round keys is it's a bit annoying. Sometimes you do miss the keys, but it's pretty quick to get used to.
Yeah, like your finger position needs to be pretty precise to actually click the keys in the right time, like the right sort of clicks, but...
Yeah, but I think you only have a problem with the K780 when you try the MX keys, because then you realize how good the MX keys is.
Yeah.
But I think if you only use the K780, it's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
But the MX keys is just that much better.
Mm-hmm. Now in terms of like the materials and the build quality, the MX keys is more metallic and like it feels really solid. It's got a really good weight to it. But the K780 is plastic, but the plastic is still kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a very nice plastic. Like the keys, it's hard, but it's still soft-ish. So it's got great feedback. And then the cradle is a bit more of a soft touch plastic, which provides good grip if you're putting your phone or your iPad in there.
Yeah, the cradle is definitely a really good feature about the K780 that the MX keys doesn't have. If you use your phone to type on or like your iPad, it's really easy to just stick it in there and it'll just stay. Now in terms of technology, they're both actually really similar. So they both offer multi-device support using both the USB receiver and Bluetooth connections. So you can have up to 3 different devices connected and then switch between them, which is super convenient, like just a 1, 2, and 3 button click.
It's so good. And it works for Windows, Mac, Linux, Chrome OS, works with your phones. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's so really good.
Really good.
The only problem with like the K780 is sometimes the connection does drop out, but it is quite rare.
Yeah, it'll be like while you're typing, sometimes it just won't show up on the screen. It'll lag, and then it'll kind of like type it quickly, right? It'll just show up.
Yeah.
And then sometimes with the MX keys, a similar thing happens where like the Bluetooth just won't connect. But I think it's more of an issue with my computer because just switching Bluetooth on and off again basically fixes it most of the time. So.
Yeah. I think it's with Mac as well. I think both of them don't really play well with Mac as much as Windows. Yeah. I have both a Mac and a Windows, and it works better with Windows than for Mac. But to be fair, the MacBook Pro that I use is 10 years old. So yeah.
Both also work with Logi Options, which is Logitech software that basically you can program different hotkeys to do specific functions. Like you can program them to open specific apps or like do keyboard shortcuts. It's like there's so much stuff you can do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of customization with it, but to be honest, we haven't really taken advantage of it, or at least I haven't.
Yeah, I've done a little bit with the keyboard, but Logi Options really comes into play with the mice, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
They also both work with Logitech Flow, but you're going to need a compatible mouse, which we'll get into later. But basically what Logitech Flow does is it pretty much allows you to work seamlessly between two different computers, even if one is Windows and one is Mac.
Yeah, so if you move the mouse across the screen to the edge, Logitech will somehow know and it'll flow from that screen to the next screen, and it'll even like do the device switching for you. So essentially the mouse will change from, let's say the first one is device 1 and the second one is device 2. The mouse will change and it'll also bring the keyboard with it. So it'll go from 1 to 2 on the keyboard as well.
Yeah, we don't really use this, but our dad does, and he said that the mouse switching is very good, but trying to copy and paste files between even two Macs doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really work perfectly. It's not something that we even use, so can't comment too much, but...
Yeah, we don't know if he's doing it right. But
yeah, if it's something that you want to try and figure out, then, I mean, by all means, it's a cool feature to have.
The K780 runs off of 2 AAA batteries, and on the website it says it'll last for about 24 months, but realistically, mine has lasted about 10 months, and even after each use, I would always turn it off. So I feel like that's a pretty realistic usage.
Yeah.
So 10 to 12 months maybe.
Fair enough. Depends on how good your batteries are as well.
That is true, they were cheap batteries.
Yeah. And then the MX keys is rated for like 10 days with the backlighting on or 5 months with the backlighting off. But yeah, I found 10 days to be a fairly decent approximation. Usually I'll get more than 10 days, but it's USB-C rechargeable batteries, so it's pretty good. Yeah, you just plug it in and it charges pretty quickly, so it's not an issue. And you can use it while it's charging.
Yeah, I don't know what I prefer actually. I swear, it's kind of like the Xbox versus PlayStation controller, isn't it?
Definitely prefer PlayStation, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Another important thing to note is that the K780 is not a full keyboard. It's missing the little middle bit where they've got like home, end, page up, page down, that kind of thing, while the MX keys does have that. And to be honest, I do use those page up, page down keys quite a lot because like I'm working with Excel sheets and stuff. So if you're like professional, you do need that. So that is a pretty important consideration.
Yeah, I don't need that. I didn't even realize. I thought it was still like a full keyboard, but...
Not quite.
For Emotion, both of the keyboards do a pretty similar job, but they're different vibes, aren't they?
Yeah. The MX keys is definitely more professional, formal, and I think it just makes you feel better about yourself. Like, it's just more premium. It's just so much nicer.
That is true.
But then the K780 is nice too.
Yeah, it's a bit more playful.
Yeah.
It's kind of a keyboard that you can use for non-work things. Like if you want to watch a video, you can just stick it in the cradle.
Yeah.
But yeah, the keys is professional.
Alright, now let's get into the mice. The MX Master is the budget version, and that's £52. And the MX Master 3 is £85, which is about a 30-40% price difference, so pretty big jump.
Now there is one in between called the MX Master 2S, but during sales the MX Master can go as low as £37, so in the sales you're really winning with the MX Master.
Yeah, it's best, if you want to get it, it's best to kind of wait for like Prime Day deals or just any other sales that are going on, because you can usually get the original one, the MX Master, for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, Prime Day, Black Friday, Boxing Day, those are the best times to get it.
Now for aesthetic, they both look pretty similar, like overall in general, but sometimes there are different colors you can choose from, like there's a darker version and then sometimes there's a light grey white version, but the darker one definitely looks a lot better.
Yeah, the MX Master has got more of a bronzy gunmetal tint to it, which is decent. It adds a bit of color, but I'm not really a fan of it.
Yeah, the Master 3 is a lot nicer, like it's just a clean space grey. Again, like the MX keys is like the Apple sort of look, just like very clean. In terms of the little details, the MX Master has a sort of geometrical diamond shaped pattern on it, but it's only on like the inside, whereas the MX Master 3 has like a kind of lines, flowy sort of feel to it. But to be honest, overall, there's not much in it with the aesthetic. They're both pretty similar.
For sense, both mice are pretty similar in terms of ergonomics, But where they really differ is in terms of the build quality.
Yeah, the MX Master 3 build quality is just so nice. Like, the scroll wheel is now made with steel. It's an electromagnetic scroll wheel, so it does feel a bit different, but it can switch between different modes. So there's like the notchy scroll where it like clicks. Ratchet, yeah, it clicks. And then it can switch to like a smooth scroll where if you go quickly, it'll just like flow and spin continuously pretty much. It's almost like perpetual spinning, but it does slow down a bit. But it's nice. It's really nice. It's quick, it's silent, it's really precise, it's really good.
Yeah, and the MX Master is still pretty good. The scroll wheel it's got some plastic to it, and it can still do the same thing, but it's a bit louder and it's not as good as the MX Master 3.
Yeah, but it's still probably pretty similar.
Yeah, it's still quite good.
Both mice also have a thumb wheel, but again, the MX Master 3 has a metal one, and the MX Master is just plastic, pretty much. They also have some side buttons, but on the MX Master, they're pretty close together and like right on top of each other, so it's a little bit fiddly sometimes. And the MX Master 3, they're a lot more separated, so depending on which one you get, it is a little bit of an adjustment curve, but you get used to them both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the side buttons on the MX Master. The MX Master 3 just is that a little bit better.
Yeah. There's also another button on the bottom of the mouse by your thumb that you click like towards the pad on the bottom. And that one is really nice, it's really good. It took a while to get used to on the MX Master 3 because it's a bit more hidden and right on the edge of the mouse, but I mean both do a pretty similar job.
Yeah, I think the MX Master is better because that whole bottom bit is the button, so it is better. For technology, both of these mice have multi-device functionality, so you can use it with up to 3 different computers, but only the MX Master 3 works with Logitech Flow.
Yeah, if you do want to use Logitech Flow with a more budget option, you can go with the MX Master 2S, which is fairly similar to the MX Master in that it's like kind of plasticky, slightly lower build quality, but it does work with Logitech Flow. So if that's something you need, then you could go with that one.
Both of them work with Logi options, which is super helpful to kind of customize your mouse experience.
Yeah, you can literally program every single button to do whatever you want, and it's really, really good because you can do app-specific programming. So let's say, for example, with video editing, I can program the specific button clicks to like one button for the blade tool, one button to delete a clip, trim, like zoom in, zoom out. So it's just really helpful, especially because I used to edit with a trackpad, but now with the MX Master or even MX Master 3, it's just so easy.
Yeah, I think you were deciding between the Apple trackpad and the MX Master 3, but having those programmable buttons really pushed you, didn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It just makes it easier to edit, and also the multi-device functionality just really sold it, because you can't do that with the trackpad.
That is true. For emotion, it's a similar story to the keyboards. The MX Master 3 is just a bit more premium and has a bit of a better aesthetic.
Yeah, but the MX Master still does a really good job. Like, it does give it a run for its money. It does most of what the MX Master 3 can do. The MX Master 3 just does it a little bit better. It's just a bit more premium, more refined, and it has flow, but if you really need flow, you can do the MX Master 2S.
Now to conclude, which one should you actually go for? I feel like even now at the end of the video, it's still so hard to choose because they both have their merits. But what do you think?
I think if you have the extra budget, then you can definitely go for the MX Master 3 and the keys, because it is just more premium, more professional. You get the full keyboard with that extra little bit, which if you're working on spreadsheets and stuff, you kind of need it. But at the end of the day, the MX Master and the K780 are also still just such good options. And if you really, really absolutely need Logitech Flow, just go for the MX Master 2S, which is still cheaper than the Master 3.
Yeah, so I suppose the K780 and the MX Master is more of a casual user, but you still want that quality and just devices that work really well. And then the MX Master 3 and the keys, that's professional. That's like, that's the best.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a better keyboard or mouse.
But if you're on a budget, the MX Master and K780 are still such a great option, which is why you included it in your ultimate student desk setup, because like it's the best budget option you can go for.
Yeah.
Especially when they're on deal as well. So
there you have it.
That's all for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you think, if you go for the budget option or if you really think that premium version is absolutely worth it.
Yep, and be sure to follow us on Instagram as well.
@the Master Brothers. That's all from the Master Brothers.
We'll catch you on the flippity flip.